Hey, Kyle, I am sorry to keep you waiting. I really am.
You're a busy man. We completely understand. We will get right down to business because I know you don't have a lot of time here today. So here in Cincinnati, in the Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky area, when we saw that this infrastructure bill passed, a lot of us immediately thought, what does this mean for the Brent Spence Bridge, right? It's been considered functionally obsolete for years now. You spoke about it when you were here for that town hall in July. Can you go on record here right now and guarantee people who drive across that span each and every day that a better option for this bridge will be funded significantly as a result of this massive infrastructure bill that just passed?
The answer is yes. You all are going to get in the state of Kentucky well over $10 billion. And for highways, for example, $9.2 billion for highways and $500 million for bridges. And it's been listed as one of the most notorious bridges in the country. And so my guess is that that's going to be the choice that your governors are going to make and want to get done. And we can get it done now.
When do you expect these widespread infrastructure projects to begin across the country? They're obviously going to be impacted in some way by these global supply chain issues that all of us are being impacted by.
Right.
And what is your administration doing on the front end to really mitigate or lessen those impacts?
Which one? What do you want me to answer first?
Your choice.
Well, let's start off talking about supply chains. One of the problems with the supply chain is that because of COVID, we've had a real shortage of materials. I mean, everything from foodstuffs to semiconductors, and a lot of the supply chain is brought into the country through our ports. So one of the things I did, I went out to Los Angeles, and 40% of all the goods that come in the West Coast come in through two ports in the Los Angeles area. And they're privately owned, but I've got the longshoremen together and the privately owned operators, and got them to go from being open 40 hours a week to open 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to speed up, because we had over, I think it was 74 cargo ships were lined up, couldn't get in. But it's that way all over the country. That's one of the reasons why we put so much money in here for bridges and ports and airports, so we could speed up supply chains, not just now, but in the future. And the first part of your question was whether or not we could, when we start to see this happen.
Yes.
When the money, I think you'll start to see it happen literally in a matter of weeks. For example, in your state, in the state of Ohio, there are a number of people who do not have high-speed internet. 14% of the people of Ohio have no internet, a lot of them in rural areas. And then you have 28% of the people who have internet but can't afford it. So there's money in here to provide for everyone in the state to have internet and affordable internet. That ought to be starting fairly quickly, putting a lot of people to work, by the way, a lot of electricians to work. It's also going to be, there's money in here for a significant amount of money for $140 million for electric charging stations to be put on the highways throughout your state. There's a whole range of things that could go quickly. Now, how long it takes to get, for example, there's 10 million American households are drinking bad water. Well, in Ohio, you expect you're going to receive $1.4 billion statewide to fix your water pipes, a lot of them lead pipes, so that you no longer have the safety hazards. So all of this stuff is going to start relatively quickly.
All right, that's good news there, President Biden. I want to turn to your polling really quickly here. The latest polling from USA Today has your approval rating at 38%. A new CNN poll shows 58% of Americans believe that you aren't paying enough attention to the nation's most important issues. So I'm wondering, when you combine that with the election results that we saw last week, is this giving you kind of a sign that maybe you need to recalibrate some of your administration's priorities as you approach that one-year mark in office?
Well, look, the poll I saw just before I walked in on another station was my polling number is down, but it's 48% to 52%. But look, the point is, I didn't run because of the polls. I think what you're going to see is the combination of what I did in the beginning in terms of the Recovery Act and then this legislation, as well as the legislation that we're about to pass, God willing, on what's called Build Back Better, everything from child care to funding 3 and 4 year olds in school, et cetera. I think all that's going to have a significant impact on ordinary Americans, like the households I came from, that in fact are going to change their circumstance and result in essentially tax cuts for the child care they'll get, tax cuts for being able to send their kids to 3 and 4 years old to school. They otherwise have to pay for it. So there's a whole lot of things that are going to be happening. I think this is an up and down proposal, an up and down circumstance. And as I looked at the polling data, literally as I was walking out of the office after doing another thing I had to do, is my polling numbers are the same, essentially what everyone from Bush to Clinton to all of Obama were at the same time. But again, I don't think presidents should be deciding what to do about. Look, a lot of people are worried. Think about this. Look what 750,000 people have died because of COVID. 750,000 people. The psychological scars that has put on so many people. Schools have not been open because of COVID, and they're just getting open again. We're in a situation where there's a lot of anxiety. Gas prices are up exceedingly high. They've been up this high before, but not recently. Gas price. That's why I have the Attorney General taking a look at whether or not these gas companies are gouging people, because although the price of oil is coming down some, the price of gas hadn't come down some. So there's a lot of things that have people that are really a great deal of anxiety, a great deal of concern. And they all relate to, even though we've created almost 6 million jobs since I came into office, we're in a situation where people they don't feel it right now. They don't feel it.
President Biden, I'm being told that is the last question we have time for to ask you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us here in the Cincinnati area.
I'm sorry to be late. I hope I can see you again. I apologize for little foreign policy issues. I apologize.
No problem at all. Have a good day, President Biden.
Have you noticed that as everything around you seems to decline, one thing still grows? It is the power of your rulers. None of their plans and directives have solved your problems or made your life better. The only result has been their increased control over you at the cost of your freedom. Do you know why? You gave them the power.